There is the man. There he is. Milwaukee Bucks.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Second place still. Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Brian.
Alan's with me. We're kind of early today. I have a lot going on later, but we did want to get a video in today. I was hoping to show you guys some things with the app and kind of related to stock charts on when things trigger and when things kind of revert back, and then the trigger is invalidated. But unfortunately, my computer is slow today. Maybe it seems like it's a Monday for it. But Triple M was one of those. It started off short. It would have triggered short. I'm kind of looking at my phone at 9:05 Central before eventually going long around 10:30 Central, maybe. So a couple of things. One, I can't thank some of you guys, and you know who you are, who post in the Facebook group. I know John has been testing the app, playing with the app, posting triggers. I know Charles has been posting his wins. I encourage you guys to do that, because in the end, it helps the group. Because really that's what the group is for, to kind of get everybody, I want to say up to speed, but that's not the right word. I want to get everybody familiar with this 5-minute strategy, because as John is showing, as Charles is showing, it works. It works if you follow the rules. I'll admit that it's a little bit nuances, I think, that you have to be aware of. You have to be able to cut things short and basically get out of positions. What's going on here? You know what? I think my Thinkorswim's coming up. My screen just went black. So you have to be, you have to get rid of emotions. If a trade, like say it triggers long and then reverses back into the 5-minute high, you need to be able to get out of that trade and settle for that small loss. One of the posts that John made this morning, the keyword that stuck out for me was patience. And I can't stress that enough. You need to be patient and you need to wait for these triggers. In addition, and I've always ran into this, the first 30 minutes of trading can be quite choppy. You know, you could be, and you can't like front run triggers. You can't say, oh, this is going up, I bet it's going to close above, I'm going to get in early. Because more than often, you're not, you're going to get burnt and end up getting out of that trade because it'll just sit there and bounce around. So patience, I think, is the key thing. It was funny, Friday, Alan threw me under the bus about that whole, it's called the FTM Earnings app, but it should really be the volume app, because really that's what it's looking for. It's looking for option volume. So, and I don't know what I was doing Friday, but I was away from computers. I was away from my phone, and I get these messages and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? So it took me a minute to kind of figure out that Alan said, hey, contact Brian. So, it's a great a great idea. And I don't want to say, you know what, the weekend's up, that you no longer can take advantage of this, because I think Alan as well, believe in this volume app, and believe in, I mean, if you think of follow the money, that's basically what it's doing. It's looking at where the money is going in the options and and using those as signals to either go long or short. The issue with it, however, is that it's not available for iOS, and I need to get back into developing for iPhones. A lot of that has to do with Apple. Apple kind of made my old iMac obsolete last April, I think. I have a new one. I just need to spend time on it. So there are a few things with Android versus iOS. The first is that the Android version of the 5-Minute Rule app is going to have a lot more bells and whistles than the iOS version. And honestly, the iOS version, I think, is the very first version that came out. I can't upgrade the iOS version as easily as I can the Android version because of Apple's garden, or Apple's walled garden kind of thing. Number two, I can't offer refunds in the iOS version as easily as I can the Android version. And that's, again, due to Apple wanting to take control of the user experience. They want to be able to offer refunds, that sort of thing. So if you're, like, for example, if you're on the Android version, you say, you know what, this isn't working for me, can I get a refund? I'll be okay with that. But if you're on the iOS version and you say this isn't working for me, unfortunately, you're going to need to go through the Apple App Store to do that. And it's up to them if they want a refund or not. And like I said, the last thing was that the volume app currently isn't in the iOS version. What I would do if it were me, I would go to Walmart. I would get the cheapest Android phone that I could. And I mean, I get it. I'm an Apple guy too. My whole family has iPhones. I have an iMac. I have a Mac Mini. So when, I don't know, 2 years ago, was it? 2.5 years ago, when Alan came to me and said, hey, can you develop an app? My first thought was for iOS. So I had to go to Walmart too and get an Android phone to be able to test on it. And I think I paid $50, $60. It's not connected to cellular. I don't have any service on it. I just use it when I have Wi-Fi. So, so if it were me, and if you're in the position of, hey, I'm an iPhone guy, but I really want this volume app, seriously consider, like I said, getting a cheap Samsung phone or cheap Android phone, and it'll work for you. You can even get the 5-Minute Rule app on your iPhone, and I will give you, I think it was 6 months that Alan said, I will give you that volume app for your Android phone. So I hope everybody's doing great. Alan, we're seeing some bullishness in the market today.
Yeah. So just so everybody knows how this is supposed to work, you got to go with how it's supposed to work. So what happens is that you want to wait till about 10 o'clock, and then you want to buy all longs. And the reason that you're doing this is because you know the market makers, everybody knows that it's going to go up the first of the month. So what it is they want to front run it. So like for me, I think I bought 100 contracts to go up, probably 10, 10, 30, 11 or something in that range. So it's a really nice way to build in a profit. And so as far as I know, I'm extremely up right now on all my positions. Now, the same thing goes into effect in the last day of the month. So what happens is, that's what I was showing you on the 30th, is that what's happening is that it goes down on the 30th, and then it goes even further down going into the 31st or such like that. So that's that. So knowing that it's going to go up on the 1st, it usually goes up after 10:30 or 11 on the day before.
And you have your favorites, right? You have your Googles, your Visas, your American Expresses.
I'm playing some odd ones today because we already had a big run up. What I like today is I like Rite Aid, I like Raytheon, Visa, and Google. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And when I was looking at Tesla and the Rivens and the Teslas, it used to be every time they had a bullish day to short it. I think looking at Tesla, they've kind of turned the corner because yesterday was a red day for Tesla, and look, it's bullish again. So I think now, especially for Tesla, when you see red days for Tesla, I think it'd be beneficial to kind of look towards the next day to be bullish. One other stock that I wanted to show, let me see if I can find my share screen, is Best Buy. That's been kind of a favorite of mine. And if I look at their chart, they're bullish here. This is the 3-month chart. How do I maximize? So if you look, we hit this level here, came down, hit it again, and finally broke above it. So this is actually like a 3-month high for Best Buy. Still has a way to go for its 1-year high. But I like this pattern where it, like a double top and finally broke through. And actually, if you go back, what is this? August, we had that high level as well. So we're currently above it. So that's one that I like. So yeah, I think that one, Cliff, United Steel, X. If you want to play oil, look for Oxy and Exxon, XOM. Raytheon for defense, which is RTX. Google, as Alan mentioned, Visa and American Express seems to be the economy stocks, if you want to call it that. And I don't know, am I missing anything else on the list
Well,
of?
those are the main ones, Brian. I think those are pretty good to jump into. Going back to so how I use the growth or earnings or volume is that you come up with rules. So my rule of using that is I take the overall options, make sure I got like a 3 to 4 advantage. Then to let me know if I want to get in the position, I'm looking for people coming with me. So like LCID, I mean, we were seeing crazy levels of 157 amount of calls to puts. And then I got into that on 100 contracts. That just was a beautiful trade. But we got a lot of positions on the call. So last week, I'm going to say, well, definitely the best profit last week of the year. I mean, I know it's the beginning of the year, but it was a very good week, for the 5-minute, and very good for the defense stocks. I gave them the defense stocks. They did very well. Those LMT, big run up, $23. Raytheon, it went up, but if you bring up Raytheon, I'll show you what's going on with Raytheon. I'm looking for Raytheon to get back to 103, hopefully by the end of this week. But if you go ahead and do that 3 months,
So
20 days, 3 months.
Really, Where's 3 months time frame daily? It should favorite that 3 month. And this was that odd day. They haven't corrected.
Yeah, but the issue is what I'm trying to show is what you should have on there is that basically it's at $99. The 20-day SMA.
Oh, yeah.
So
Uh,
this is when I say a trade's done. It's got nowhere to go.
that yellow.
Google, yeah. The thing is that this is just my experience. It's not a written rule, but it's a pretty good written rule. Is that how can Google be worth $100 one day, 75 the next day, 96 the other day? What is it? What is Google really worth? My experience is that what Google's really worth is 20-day SMA in 3 months. That's what Google's really worth. And if you've got room for movement, then you got room for it to go ahead and take off. But this is why you had the pullback on Google. This is why you had the pullback on MMM. This is why you had a pullback. Even you're going to have a big pullback on Tesla, just
Yeah.
because it's so fast a simple moving average. The rule of thumb is when you get something like that that's going to do a pullback, the rule is that till you have a day that's opposite. So if you're way past the SMA, you cannot trade Tesla till you go ahead and have a negative day.
Right.
And then the thing is take the short because they can make this thing go as long as they want it to go. So that's kind of how you play it. But these are all I call them rules, but they're algorithms that are built into mathematical equations, and that this is what makes the markets run. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So look for a bullish day tomorrow. I'm bullish tomorrow. However, if we start out 400 or 500 points up, you best get out because it's probably going to disappear pretty quick.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah. There's not that much enthusiasm or optimism. So yeah. You got to look if you're up that much. You got to look for profit taking, and that's kind of what you see in the first 30 minutes as well. You know, if you're watching a stock on the 5 minute and it's up the first 5, 10, 15 minutes, odds are it's going to pull back because people need to sell and keep that profit or book that profit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. Like I said, I was hoping to make a video of the 5 minute app, but my computer's not working. I still owe that to some people. Couple have asked, how do you use the 5 minute app? How do you play with the 5 minute app? And it's easier to show than it is to write down. So I'll get working on that. Like I mentioned earlier, even though it was this past weekend with the volume indicator, if you're still interested, reach out to me and we'll see what we can do. So I actually have to run for an appointment. Alan, I hope you're doing well over there. Probably freezing, aren't you? Coming from the Bahamas now. What is it? Is it in the single digits?
18 degrees here in Michigan.
Oh, there you go. That's a heat wave. We were like negative when we woke up. So, and actually, I think there are wind chill advisories. So, but it's sunny, so you can go outside and look at the sun and pretend it's warm. So that's what we.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, you guys have a good rest of the day. Hang in there, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
All right.